What is up, fellas? We are back for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. Um, Pretty good card this weekend, guys. There's a lot of matchups. I'm actually pretty certain are going to be good this weekend. We got a great co-main event. We have a great main event. Good card with a crowd. So some consistent cards outside of the Apex, which is always nice. If you're new, subscribe. I appreciate it. We've been doing pretty good over the last 4 weeks. Not too shabby, I will say. So let's keep the momentum going. And yeah, let's just jump right into the card, fellas. Kicking us off at women's flyweight, Juliana Miller is taking on Ivana Petrovic or Petrovic. Um, yeah, I'm sure the line's a little bit wide. Honestly, I would think it'd be wider. Juliana Miller is really quite bad. Ivana Petrovic isn't crazy good, but I don't think Juliana Miller is UFC level in any type of way. She needs to make substantial uh gains to her game. I just don't think she's going to. Her only win in the UFC comes against Brogan Walker, who is quite bad. And since then, she has lost. Losing to Veronica Hardy, not the worst thing in the world. Losing to Luana Santos, it's just she's just not good, bro. Ivana Petrovic lost to Jamie Lynn Horth in a split decision, which she kind of arguably could have won. It was a pretty competitive fight. I Horth had beat Juliana Miller. I'm pretty confident in it. I think it's a submission over Na Liang. Like, no, like these are not quality wins, but I don't like Juliana Miller. She's a victim on the feet. Her grappling is not great. She can push a pace. She has good 3 round cardio. But my thing is most women fighters have good 3 round cardio, so I don't think that's really enough to win her this fight. And I just haven't seen anything from her improvement wise to make me want to pick her. Maybe she's improved substantially since her time off. I would hope so, because she is young. But at the end of the day, she's 3-3, brother. I cannot pick her to win. I'm gonna go with Ivana Petrovic here to get the win, potentially even inside of the distance. A lot of people picking decision. I could see her getting a little cheeky finish, but we'll see. Moving up to fat boy heavyweight, Don'Tale Mayes taking on Thomas Peterson. Once again, I met with a guy I simply just do not trust. I'm going with Thomas Peterson here in this slug matchup. Don'Tale Mayes is just booty, if I'm being honest. Lost to Walter Walker by heel hook. Lost to Shamil Gaziev, which not the worst thing in the world, I guess. I beat Kyle Machado, who's pretty ass. Lost to Rodrigo Nascimento, who's got a pretty record, but is also pretty ass. And they beat Andre Arlovsky. Thomas Peterson, he got KO'd by Shamil Gaziev, so if you apply the MMA method, granted he got KO'd 2 months ago, so this is a pretty quick turnaround. Maybe Don'Tale Mayes has got to. Am I thinking of picking a Don'Tale Mayes? Am I schizophrenic? Hold on. I didn't realize that Shamil Gaziev knockout was so recent. Hmm. The thing is, Thomas Peterson can grapple. He can grapple a little bit, and that's kind of where it falls apart. Because if this was going to be like a stand and bang matchup, I wouldn't mind Don'Tale Mayes as this kind of an underdog. I know that seems crazy picking Don'Tale Mayes, and I'm not, I don't think. Because Thomas Peterson does have a little bit of wrestling. He's got a little bit of grappling. He's got decent control if he can get on top. And we know for a fact that if you can get on top of Don'Tale Mayes, you can win the fight guaranteed. Now, if this is an extended fight on the feet, I could actually see Don'Tale Mayes maybe looking like, I don't know about a favorite, but he might hurt Thomas Peterson because 2 months off of a brutal KO typically is not long enough, especially when you're fighting a big boy like Don'Tale Mayes and fighting with a huge reach deficit. Don'Tale Mayes could maybe upset here if Thomas Peterson engages in the stand-up a little bit too much. Thomas Peterson has a clear path to victory, though. He should just grapple him. If he can take him down, I bet he could TKO him with ground and pound, or he could ride out a decision like most people are thinking he does. I feel like Thomas Peterson can get a TKO to ground and pound if he gets Dante Mays down, and he should employ the wrestling pretty quickly because I don't know if we want to test the chin too much because Dante Mays does have decent power, even though he is quite awful. But I am going to go with Thomas Peterson. He should win. He's got the more well-rounded skill set, and he has a clear path to victory. Whereas I feel like Peterson can compete in the stand-up, I do not feel like Dante Mays can compete in the grappling with Thomas Peterson. So I'm going to go Thomas Peterson here, maybe by TKO to ground and pound. Moving up to bantamweight, Gaston Bolaños taking on Quang Lee. I have not seen the line here. I'm going with Quang Lee over Gaston Bolaños. I just don't think Gaston Bolaños is good. I know he's coming off of a win over Cortavius Romeus, but Cortavius Romeus just got cut from the UFC. And I've never thought Gaston Bolaños was very good, man. You know, lost to Marcus McGee. Not the worst thing in the world. Aaron Phillips. And then we're looking at, you know, finishing 7-5 guys in Bellator. You know, I haven't been super impressed. Brandon Quang Lee, on the other hand, in the UFC, he's one of these guys who's 0-2 in the UFC. He was knocking out everybody, beating everybody up on the regional scene, right? But then you give him Chris Gutierrez in his debut, which is a tricky matchup for a lot of guys. Chris Gutierrez is a hard guy to kickbox with 3 rounds, but Quang Lee was able to pull a round off of him, was able to out-grapple him, actually. And then he had a hard fight with Long Shao, ended up getting TKO'd in, I believe, the 3rd round, but that fight was really back and forth, really competitive. And Long Shao's kind of a dog, bro. And so is Quang Lee. I like Quang Lee here. I'm going to take a look at the line. Wow. Plus 160. I had a feeling he might be a dog here. I didn't think he'd be that big. I thought he'd be like plus 130. I kind of like Quang Lee here in this spot, man. He's got good power. His back's up against the wall here. And I think he's fighting a beatable guy in Gaston Bolaños. I really do. Like, Gaston Bolaños is a guy who's, like, touted as a very good kickboxer. And he is technically pretty sound. It's just he's kind of slow is something I've noticed. He doesn't seem very quick on the feet. And I feel like Quang Lee can punish him with the hands. And Quang Lee's got decent power with the hands. I think there's a little bit of line over correction here. If Quang Lee didn't have that 3-round war with Long Shao, I think he'd probably be the favorite here, honestly. I'm going to go with Quang Lee. I think there's a little bit of value on him at plus 155. This isn't betting advice. Don't put your money on these picks, please. I can't be held accountable. But I like him in this dog spot. Now, if Quang Lee was like a minus 200 favorite, would I consider picking Gaston Bolaños as an underdog? Yes, absolutely. I think this is a dog value side from a picking perspective. Because I don't feel like either one of these guys is particularly insanely talented. So I don't think they deserve to be minus 200 over each other, in my opinion. Everybody's picking Gaston Bolaños by decision. Quang Lee, I'm calling Quang Lee's getting a TKO. Take it to the bank. Don't take it to the bank. That's not betting advice. Stop it. You need help. Moving up to women's strawweight, Marina Rodriguez taking on Jillian Robertson. Now, guys, I am a Marina Rodriguez fan. I've picked her in a lot of matchups. And you can see that that has not gone particularly well for me. I think I'm fading Marina Rodriguez here. First time in a while. Because I really like her boxing. I really like her striking. But her weakness to grappling just simply has not been fixed. It's a hole in her game that's always been there. And I've always been like, well, she can improve this. And if she does, her boxing's really good. Her striking's really good. She never improves it, man. And Jillian Robertson is a really good grappler who's been looking good lately, been getting some finishes, been looking good. Whereas Marina Rodriguez, who's also quite old, has just not been looking that great. Yasmin Lucindo split decision. Honestly, if I remember correctly, I kind of thought she won that fight. Jessica Andrade split decision. Another fight I picked her in. Another fight where I thought maybe she could have got the decision. Beat Michelle Waterson Gomez. Absolutely fucking crazy. She beat the shit out of Michelle Waterson. Jesus Christ, I forgot about how brutal that was. Lost to Verna Jandiroba. Everybody gets tripped and stalled out to a decision by Verna Jandiroba. And then lost to Amanda Lemos in a fight that she was honestly looking pretty good against Lemos. Whereas, Jillian Robertson beat Luana Pinheiro. Decent win. She beat Michelle Waterson Gomez by decision. Not the greatest win. TKO Polyana Viana pretty quickly and easily. Lost to Tabitha Ritchie, which I do not love. Submitted Pierre Rodriguez with an armbar is actually pretty impressive. But like the level of comp is just so much fucking higher for Marina Rodriguez, huh? Just like light years better comp. Oh, guys, I can't do it again. I can't pick Marina Rodriguez again. I can't. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can be a believer anymore. I'm so conflicted. Because Jillian Robertson on the feet is a victim. She's a victim waiting to be victimized on the feet. But Marina Rodriguez just simply cannot grapple. She can't do it. And she's old. She's fucking 38 years old. She's auntie status, you know what I mean? And Jillian Robertson's 29. She's like about to enter the prime of her life. I gotta go with Jillian Robertson. Her path to victory is very clear. My gut, Marina Rodriguez. I must fade her. I fear. I hate to say it. This will be the one she wins. Watch. I guarantee it. Jillian Robertson just has a clear path to victory. I know the level of comp isn't quite up to snuff, but it's not like Marina Rodriguez was beating this level of comp. She's losing split decisions to this level of comp, which is still impressive, but she's not winning. And Jillian Robertson just has a path to victory, man. Just out grapple Marina Rodriguez. Everybody else can seem to do it. You're the grappler. Show me. Show me you belong in the top 10 and out grapple Marina Rodriguez. A lot of people are picking Robertson by sub. Could be, but I honestly think decision is probably what I'm feeling for Robertson here. Because if we're not, we're not finishing like Michelle Watterson, I don't think we're finishing Marina Rodriguez on the mat. I really don't. If she does, it's impressive. It's an impressive win if she does that. Because not a lot of girls, I mean, a lot of high level people fight her and they aren't finishing her, bro. So I'm going to go with Jillian Robertson by decision, just being able to out grapple on Marina Rodriguez. If this fight is extended on the feet for whatever reason, Jillian Robertson will get her head boxed in. That was my alarm. Sorry if you heard that. What the fuck did I have an alarm for? No idea. uh, Robertson should win a decision by out-grappling Rodriguez. If they stand up, though, Rodriguez is very live to finish her. This line's a bit crazy. This is definitely line over correction. Marina Rodriguez should be like maybe plus 150 here. Moving up to middleweight, Azamat Bakoyev taking on Ryan Loder. Ryan Loder's pretty good, dude. But Azamat Bakoyev, despite looking like a pencil-necked geek in this picture they have for him on Tapology, is a pretty dangerous guy. Absolutely murdered Zachary Reese, who's a pretty dangerous guy in himself. And man, I mean, in LFA, he's just been, you know, I like I I don't like Bakoyev, and I want to fade him so badly, right? And I faded him with Zachary Reese. I did fade him with Zachary Reese because he took the fight on short notice. And when you look at some of his fights, it is inexcusable to take Dylan Budka to a split decision. I believe this was 5 rounds as well. But he is pretty good, dude. He is a big favorite over Ryan Loder, though, huh? Ryan Loder's not that bad, man. You know, beat Robert Valentin, which I know people are like, Robert Valentin lost to fucking Torres Finney. Shut the fuck up. We finished Robert Valentin. We outgrappled and finished Robert Valentin. We didn't fucking caress his nutsack for 15 minutes and land 0 significant strikes, 0 submission attempts, and 40% of our takedowns. Ryan Loder finished him, which is a good win. Ryan Loder's solid, dude. He's a tough guy. Good grappling. Good grappling. But I just feel like Bakoyev's kind of a motherfucker to beat. I do think the odds are a bit wide, though. I definitely think Bakoyev wins. I definitely think this fight will be pretty competitive. If he goes out there and just blows up Ryan Loder, I'd actually be kind of impressed. I'd actually be impressed. Impressed how you could take Dylan Bucka to a decision, then blow up Ryan Loder. A lot of people are picking Bakoyev by TKO. I like Bakoyev decision. Ryan Loder's kind of a tough son of a gun, and I think he can test Bakoyev a little bit. I think that's largely what's going to happen here. I think Bakoyev's going to be a little bit better. He's going to be a hard guy to take down. I think on the feet, he's got an advantage. He's more dangerous on the feet for sure. I'm going to lean Azamat Bakoyev. I think he can get the respect of Ryan Loder. Maybe he gets Ryan Loder backing up, and Ryan Loder isn't able to grapple very much. Yeah, I'm going with Azamat Bakoyev. I think a decision here, maybe 29-28. I could see this fight being pretty competitive and maybe a sketchy position for Bakoyev here in this matchup. I would be really impressed if he goes out there and just destroys Ryan Loder, though. I really would. Moving up to women's bantamweight, an absolute slop fest. Yana Santos taking on Miesha Tate. Guys, I'm going with I'm going with Miesha Tate, I think. I just think she's a better fighter. We're both coming off of wins. Julia Avila, not a bad win. And she's beating Chelsea Chandler, who's terrible. Yeah, I got to go with Miesha Tate. I just think she's operated against better comp typically. Like Caitlin Vieira is good. Raquel Pennington's, a champion. Myron Renaud, not a great fighter. This is just such a ugly, gross matchup, bro. No one is getting a finish in this fight, though. I don't think. I would be surprised. I'm going with a Miesha Tate decision. Probably a split decision and an ugly slop fest women's bantamweight fight. I don't really like. I could break this down, but I genuinely don't think there's going to be an accurate prediction for how this shit goes. If I'm being honest, I can see this going any which way. Move it up to lightweight. The return of Jeremy Stevens taking on Mason Jones, finally back in the UFC. Guys, I'm going with Mason Jones. I'm sure he's he's a big ass favorite. Jeremy Stevens, he's old. He hasn't fought MMA in a long, long time. He's been active though, been doing some boxing, some bare knuckle boxing, and he's been winning, but you know, this is MMA. It's a little bit different. He's fighting a real young, primed guy, pretty much. And Mason Jones, man, on the regional scene has just been putting it on people, bro. He's just been fucking people up. And Mason Jones is good, dude. He's had some great fights in the UFC. Came up short a couple of times, but man, he's not too shabby. He looked all right against Ludwig Klein, ate some big shots, showed his durability off, and you're going to need that against Jeremy Stevens because Jeremy Stevens has one way to win this fight, and it's by absolutely chinning Mason Jones. And, Jeremy Stevens does have power, man. He has some of the most power, honestly, pound for pound in UFC history. People like to clown the guy. Conor McGregor did the who the fuck is that bit 18,000 years ago. But when Jeremy Stevens says when he knocks people out, they don't fucking move, he was not lying. He has insane knockout power. He went band for band with Josh Emmett and slept him. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. But he's old. He's old. A lot of people picking Mason Jones, as I would expect. A little bit of people picking Stevens here because I think he is live for a KO. I think if he lands clean on Mason Jones, he could hurt him bad. But I think more often than not, Mason Jones, I think he can just beat up on Jeremy Stevens. He's pretty well rounded. He's pretty solid everywhere. Young guy in his prime, looking great on the regional scene. Hasn't lost since leaving the UFC. Versus Jeremy Stevens taking 2 years off of mixed martial arts, not riding any momentum. If he wins, cool. I like Jeremy Stevens. It'd be cool to see him win. But honestly, I would prefer Mason Jones to get the victory because he could be a real prospect, I think. I'm going to go with Mason Jones here. I could see him getting a win inside the distance here over Jeremy Stevens because I don't think Jeremy Stevens is rocking a ton of durability at this point. We're almost 39 years old in a lighter weight class. He has 50 fights. You know what I mean? MMA fights. And he's been fighting outside of MMA and bare knuckle. You know what I mean? He's got some mileage. Mason Jones has decent power. He's got decent striking. He's just a decent fighter. I think he should be able to get the victory over Jeremy Stevens here in this matchup. But it should be a fun one, I think. Moving up to bantamweight, Cameron Smotherman taking on Sari City. I'm interested to see the line here. Okay. Yeah, that's about what I was expecting. I am going to go with Sari City here. He's just pretty good, dude. Cameron Smotherman's all right. He's a good athlete. He's a decent fighter, and that's why he's lying so close to Sari City. Sari City, though, I just think he's a solid guy kind of everywhere. He's just a good fighter, man. Now, I know in this last fight against Garrett Armfield, he probably should have lost. He even said it himself. But Garrett Armfield, I think, has been looking largely improved. Garrett Armfield's actually been impressing me with how he's been looking in some of these fights lately. Lost a split decision to Ramon Tavares. I remember thinking Sari City won that, but I'm not particularly sure. And outside of that, he had a good win over in the Contender Series KOing Ramon Tavares. And then outside of that, getting a bunch of KOs on the regionals. Cameron Smotherman dropped 1, to Gregoriou on the Contender Series, which I don't love. I don't think Gregoriou is that good. And since then, he has been murdering people and then got a win over Jake Hadley, which is good. Short notice victory over Jake Hadley. And the thing was, he looked good against Jake Hadley. And I think that's why this is lined so close. I don't think Cameron Smotherman's a bad pick. I think Smotherman's actually good. Could I see an underdog win here? Wow, everybody is on Smotherman. Holy fuck. I was not expecting that. Okay, so this is the people's underdog here. Cameron Smotherman. I see it. I see it. I don't hate it. But I'm going to go with Sari City. I like his kicks. I think his kicks here will help him out tremendously. Because Cameron Smotherman does have a good win over Jake Hadley, and Jake Hadley is good. But Jake Hadley just simply wanted to box Cameron Smotherman for this matchup for some reason, which was a little bit confusing watching it live. It didn't seem like he had much of a game plan. I think Sari City's a guy who does come in with a game plan, who's prepared pretty well. He's pretty well rounded, got good 3-round cardio, been in some hard fights. I kind of trust him here if things get a little bit dicey. But Cameron Smotherman is good. He is solid. He is technical on the feet. He's got good boxing. He's very athletic, talented guy. Could get the upset for sure. But I'm going to lean Sari City here as the slight favorite. I think he gets a decision here, just being a little bit better in the pure kickboxing, a little bit more well-rounded. But I think this is going to be a pretty competitive fight. Rocking a 3-inch reach advantage as well. I think maybe like a 29-28 or maybe even a split decision. I can see this fight being pretty close and pretty competitive. I think this fight should actually be a banger. And we'll see if the people are correct, because they are all on fucking Cameron Smotherman. Keeping it at bantamweight, Montel Jackson taking on Daniel Marcos. This fight is sick, guys. This is a sick fight. I'm really looking forward to. I think, though, even though Daniel Marcos is 17-0 undefeated, I think I got to go with Montel Jackson. He should be, he is a favorite. He should be rocking a giant reach advantage, which he is, and man, he is a fast, explosive, powerful southpaw, and I feel like that can give Daniel Marcos problems in this matchup. Daniel Marcos is a really good fighter, very well-rounded, but he's been in some close fights, like really close fight with Adrian Yanez, which I don't love. Beat John Castaneda, I don't really care. Split decision over Davey Grant that he probably should have lost, and then beat Simon Oliveira. Simon Oliveira is trash tier. John Castaneda isn't the greatest fighter of all time, and these are two very close competitive split decisions. Whereas Montel Jackson, I mean, he chinned Damon Blackshear in like fucking 20 seconds. That's a crazy ass win to have, because Damon Blackshear's been looking good. KO'd Ronnie Yanya. Ronnie Yanya's fucking terrible. Beat Julio Arce. Julio Arce, especially 2 years ago, Julio Arce is not a bad fighter, dude. JP Bay fucking terrible, but we're looking at 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Both guys in their prime. Both guys pretty talented. I just like Montel Jackson. I like that reach. I like his speed. I like his power. I like him being a southpaw here. I think he can give Daniel Marcos problems, and I actually think he can hurt Daniel Marcos. I've seen Daniel Marcos kind of stunned, kind of wobbled a little bit. Yanez had him a little bit, you know, out of it on a couple of occasions. And I've seen Marcos gas pretty hard too. I think Montel Jackson, though, I think this is a different kind of speed and pop. And I think he can really hurt Daniel Marcos on the feet. Even though Marcos is good. Like, this could be a competitive fight. I just have a hard time seeing Marcos getting around this giant reach disadvantage. 6.5 inches of reach is brutal, dude. I was expecting people to be picking Marcos, honestly. A lot of people on Montel Jackson by KO. I don't know. I could see this fight going all three, honestly. I kind of see Montel Jackson maybe getting a decision here. I could see him getting the first 2 rounds. Maybe Daniel Marcos kind of builds some momentum up in the third. And Montel Jackson slows down a little bit after beating up on Marcos for 2 rounds. I can see it. I think this is going to be a pretty competitive fight. These are two really high-level guys outside of the rankings. I'm looking forward to this one. This is my this is my third most anticipated fight on the card. I forgot about our co-main event. But this is a sick fight. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm thinking like Montel Jackson maybe a decision here in a pretty competitive matchup. Moving up to welterweight. Santiago Ponzinibbio taking on Daniel Rodriguez. Guys, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know about this one. Line? Yeah, basically even. Pretty close. Like, my initial reaction when I saw this is like, oh, I'm picking D-Rod. But, dude, I think D-Rod, like, his last few fights, like, he has not looked good, in my opinion. He got KO'd by Ian Gary, which Ian Gary is elite, right? Lost to Kelvin Gastelum. Had moments against Gastelum. Looked pretty good against Gastelum. Beat Morono in a split decision, which I don't love. You know what I mean? I'll never forgive you, Daniel, for what you did to my fucking boy. Ponzinibbio. Michelle Pajea, split decision. Not the best look. Knocked out Alex Morono, but was losing. Got knocked out by Holland. Lost to Muslim Salikov, which isn't the worst loss in a split decision. And they beat Carlson Harris by TKO. Fuck, man. I don't know. But it's the battle of the fucking washed. Okay, everybody's on Ponzi. This is interesting to see. I wonder if the lines will flip come fight night. Because my initial reaction was like, oh, I'm going to go with D-Rod just because he's got nice, clean boxing, and I don't feel like the Ponzinibbio chin is really there. But I can see Ponzinibbio dogging him for 3 rounds, just getting after it, maybe taking some big shots early. I'm going to stick with my initial reaction, which was D-Rod should win this, even though I feel like D-Rod hasn't looked the greatest lately. I think the chin is still intact for D-Rod. I think the speed's taken a downward step a little bit. He still has nice, crisp boxing a lot of the time. And I think he can hurt Ponzinibbio. I think Ponzinibbio can hurt him too, but I haven't really seen Daniel Rodriguez, in his 23 fight career has been TKO'd 1 time, I do believe, and it was Ian Gary. Whereas Ponzinibbio, as of late, I've seen him wobbled all over the place. I've seen him hurt a lot. And D-Rod's kind of a guy where I think if he wobbles you and hurts you bad with a shot, I trust him to find a follow-up that can put you away. But I think this is, once again, this is going to be a really competitive, close fight. I actually suspect this fight will be pretty sick to watch. I'm pretty sure both these guys are going to get after it, and it should be a fun one. I'm going to lean D-Rod, though. I'm going to lean D-Rod TKO. I don't trust the Ponzinibbio chin at this point, and I trust the D-Rod chin a little bit. Now, maybe Ponzinibbio eats the shots, swarms him, puts on that Ponzinibbio pressure. I could see it. It could happen. But I'm going to go with D-Rod here. Oh, my God. Moving up to the co-main event, Rainer de Ridder taking on Bo Nickel. Guys, I might get cute. Just a preface, I might get a little bit cute here, okay? What's the line looking like? Minus 280. Oh, I want to pick Rainer de Ridder so bad. I just want to go against the grain. I know Bo Nickel is fucking great, dude. But I just want to pick Rainer de Ridder for the meme, right? I want to pick fucking... I want to pick Rainer de Ridder just for the meme. I want to pick Jiu-Jitsu DDP. A lot of people are picking Rainer de Ridder. I'm going to join them. Fuck it. I'm going to pick Rainer de Ridder. Bo Nickel, he's good. Elite wrestling. His stand-up is booty. So is Rainer de Ridder's, but Rainer de Ridder has dumbass, weird meme stand-up, kind of like DDP, where it just looks disgusting, and sometimes it works. Damn near flatline KO Gerald Mearshart on the feet, and an absolute slop fest. And Rainer de Ridder's a guy he's got legit jiu-jitsu, man. If Bo Nickel, Bo Nickel didn't want to grapple Paul Craig at all. He wanted to stand up with Paul Craig. I could see something similar here because Rainer de Ridder does have a very nasty guard. He's got a very good submission game. Bo Nickel's really good, though. I think on the feet it'll be pretty close to even. Maybe Bo Nickel does something silly and gets himself submitted. I'm picking Rainer de Ridder just for fun. This is a fun pick. Let me enjoy things. Let me enjoy the Rainer de Ridder run a little bit longer, please. Please. I think Rainer de Ridder's funny. I like him, dude. So far I'm accurate on picking him, right? I picked him to win by sub both times, but honestly, I can kind of see it. I think he wins the decision here. Thoughts on that? Is that crazy? Probably. That's probably batshit insane. Bo Nickel's probably going to win, but I'm picking Rainer de Ridder for the fucking culture, dude. We want our big jiu-jitsu DDP. We want him in the top. We want him in the top 15, baby. Moving up to the main event. Corey Sandhagen taking on Davison Figueiredo. I think I'm just gonna go with Corey Sandhagen here, guys, because he's pretty durable and he's super well rounded. He's really good, really technical. Sometimes he can get caught looking and not put a lot of output out, which could happen in this matchup. But I just think Corey Sandhagen is a guy who's going to win rounds here. He's going to win minutes. And Davison Figueiredo is a guy who needs to win moments to get rounds, needs to land a big knockdown or do something insane to get around here. Because I think the majority of the time, I don't think he's going to be really going tit for tat with Corey Sandhagen on the feet. I think he's going to need to land something big, hurt Sandhagen, maybe drop him to get around here. And I think Sandhagen's durable enough to where this fight will get extended late if it doesn't go all the way. You know what I mean? I'm going to check the line here. I haven't looked at it. Oh, wow. Minus 450 is a bit, that's a bit crazy. I mean, in my opinion, there's serious value on Figueiredo plus 320. I mean, the guy dropped Peter Yan. You know what I mean? Peter Yan is a motherfucker in this division to beat. And he competed. Granted, he got his ass whipped and he ate a lot of damage in that Peter Yan fight, but he had moments against Peter Yan, which means he can have moments against Sandhagen, which means he's probably better than plus 320. But I think Sandhagen wins. I just think he's a more technical fighter overall. He's much younger in his career, in his prime, a lot less mileage. And Figueiredo, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but on Twitter, he's been looking like, I don't know if these pictures I've seen of him are like recent, like fight week pictures, but he looks fucking awful. I don't know what the fuck is up with him. I hope that's not how he shows up for the weigh-ins or on fight night, because he looks rough, dude. I don't know what it is. He just looks puffy, dude. So yeah, I'm going with Corey Sandhagen. I think he can just win rounds here. I think he can win at least 3 rounds out of this 5-round fight, just being the more technical, clean guy on the feet and not giving Davison Figueiredo those big moments to bank rounds. Davison Figueiredo is dangerous. He can go 5 rounds. He's dangerous everywhere. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got great power that carries over into this division. He can win. He has finishing upside here for sure. I just, like, a guy I trust more to win a 5-rounder against, high level comp, I think is Corey Sandhagen. Although I might take a shot. Personally, this is personal. I might take a stab on Davison Figueiredo plus 320. I'm not even going to lie. Yeah, a lot of people are picking Sandhagen decision. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. I just think I think he's a little bit better. I don't think he's got the finishing potential, but I think he's a little bit better. I think he can win a decision here over a dangerous and still game Davison Figueiredo, which I still can't believe minus 500. Peter Yan wasn't minus 500. And Peter Yan is better than Corey Sandhagen. That's still crazy to me, man. I don't know. Maybe Davison Figueiredo is like sick or injured or something. But I'm going with Corey Sandhagen by decision. Yeah. But that's it for this card, fellas. I hope we do good on picks. If you're new, subscribe. I appreciate it a ton. Leave your picks in the comments or something. And I will catch you guys next time. See ya.